There we go. All right. There we go.
That's better.
There we go. Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Tammy. This is my husband, Lance.
Hello.
We are the Journey to Keto team, along with my daughter-in-law and my son. So we kind of do a little family venture here, trying to help everybody along. Sunday nights is come in and ask your questions, and we just try to help you along. This is one of those nights. I know everybody can't afford big programs and everything right now. Times are tough, and some of us just need that little bit of help. So trying to be with like-minded people and trying to answer questions and help everybody over those hurdles is what we try to do on Sunday nights. So it's a little bit of everything and a whole lot of just general questions. So this is anything, please on mic, feel free to jump in, ask your questions. What are you struggling on? We usually have everybody go around the room and we have you give us a win and give us a struggle, and we'll help you in what your goal is for the week, if there's anything we can help you with. So I've got Facebook, or no,
You've got Zoom.
I've got Zoom live.
I've got YouTube.
Nope, you've got.
Yes,
yeah,
I've got YouTube.
It's going to be one of those nights, guys.
Here she goes again.
So he's over there on YouTube. If you're over there, tell us where you're watching from on YouTube. Over here on the live Zoom, you guys can jump right in, ask questions. I'll fill you in on our week and weekend where we're at first, and then you guys can jump right in. I'm struggling a little bit. I had one of those weeks last week. We're getting ready to start the 21-day course with drboz. So I'm working a lot on that and trying to keep our stuff going. So I've stressed a little bit this week, and I'm still having some heart issues that I'm trying to get under control. Trying to let my stress go down. And it's one of those rude awakenings of realizing nothing is wrong. Hi, Wayne, glad you're making it. Nothing is wrong. It's just when your stress levels go up, your cortisol goes up. So as soon as my cortisol goes up, my glucose goes up and my ketones go down, and it just becomes that vicious cycle. So it's one of those things of really learning. Hey, now we can see you. Now everybody will learn now. As you learn to watch those numbers and move forward in that, you're going to see how that cortisol and just that little bit of stress that I'm carrying, not sleeping right, whatever, that rise in my cortisol really has tanked my numbers. So my morning glucose has been over 100. So I'm ready to get back in it and get my stress down, do what I need to do to get that stress down, and work on my sleep and working on calming my brain down, shutting things off, stuff like that. We started our fast probably about 3:00 this afternoon. 5? Was it 5? Okay. Wait after church, but before everything started. So we start today. He's probably going to do a 72. I'm probably only going to go to a 48. I'm not pushing too hard right now. Boz has kind of backed me off a little bit. So it's got me kind of just regrouping and settling in. And I know this is going to be a stressful week for us with the 21-day kick coming on. So with Boz. So that's where I'm at. Lance is doing great. His numbers are kicking back into. We have a lot of cleaning up to do. We're still cleaning up from the holidays, getting back in that rhythm, and we haven't quite found our rhythm yet. So we're still working on it. But again, that's why the beauty of this is it is a step-by-step process that we can regroup, refocus, and get moving. So a couple announcements before we get going on that. Do want to remind everybody, drboz's 21-day course thing does start tomorrow, the metabolic kick. So this is 21 days of accountability in a row. And this is one of those, we show up every day with drboz, we show up every day with a coach, and it's a big jump start. So it's one of those things. I'd love to see what you guys like. If you guys think that would be something beneficial, we're kicking things around, or we're going to do a accountability thing like that, because it is intense. When you have accountability 21 days in a row, it is intense. When you have other people looking at your numbers every day, it is intense. But that is where you work over those hurdles and you work through those stalls that you're having, or you work through the habits that you just can't break. So those things are so important, and we work on all of that. But when it's crammed into a 21-day time frame, it's full on. So that's a good thing. We still have KetoCon coming up in April. Anybody that would love to go, I can't wait to see some of you that are coming. I'll be speaking. drboz is definitely speaking. So we're both committed. We will be speaking. It's in Austin, Texas, April 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And any of you that can come, my code is JTK50 for $50 off your ticket. And it's just a great event. It's a big event. She's expecting 5,000 to 6,000 people coming through the doors. So hey, Laura, good to see you. So it's a good event to come to. A lot of vendors and she's really up in the game on the speakers this year. It's more medical. We're trying to get, everybody understand the metabolic health and the healing that these programs can do. So that is what we're trying to step it up a little bit. And I know Robin has just worked really hard. There's such a great lineup of speakers. So I am so excited and honored to share the stage with some of the best in the industry are going to be there. And I can't wait to be there. So everybody's welcome to that. Couple things I want to talk about for the coaching when we do live coaching with people. Keto Mojo is one of our big tools that we use, and it's the glucose meter that we use. And the cool part when we're a coach, I can use the patient portal platform to share with you and keep an eye on your numbers. Like right now, Wayne's traveling, him and Vicky are traveling. I can come over here and peek in on their numbers and see how they're doing. When people are on the road a little bit.
Wayne says, no, shut up.
No, so it's just nice to be able to kick in like that. And sometimes when somebody's looking, it's a little easier to stay on course. You don't have quite the battle. So it's just those little things doing it. So little wins, little things we can do to help you along the journey. So reach out, let us know how we can help you. If you're not in our Facebook group, it's Journey to Keto with Tammy Lawbacher. On Facebook is our group. That's our public free group. That's open to everybody. We try to answer any questions over there. We got moderators over there that know what they're talking about and know what they're doing. And any questions that you have, and if it's something you need more help with, Lance or I'll kick in and try to help you on that. So we got lots of things, lots of tools to help you that cost nothing. So if you need help, don't sit and be stalled and beating your head against the wall. Let us know where we can help you out. Okay. So that's enough about us. Who wants to go first? Come on, jump in. Linda and Rob, you guys might as well start the night. I see you. Come on in.
Yeah, you brought friends.
You brought right?
Friends and family.
we were trying to sit in the back of the class thinking you wouldn't notice us,
Yeah, there you go. See, that's what we like about Zoom.
Right?
Yeah. Struggles, pluses. Oh, Linda started up the Muse.
Yes.
All right.
How's it
That
working?
thing is frustrating.
She was ready to throw it against the wall last night.
Trying to get it all to connect, or because the birds
Yeah.
chirping for you?
Yes.
A little tip in that is to take a damp washcloth and dampen your forehead and behind your ears, and that connectivity will sometimes help a little bit when you dampen it a little bit.
And definitely make sure you get your hair out of the way.
Yeah.
I have it pulled tight in a ponytail and bobby pins. Tighter.
It's
It
the
is.
ear that are giving her up. It's the ear sensors that are giving her a hard time.
Yeah, that gives everybody a hard time. And make sure that you don't have it too tight where you're going to pull that gold material and make it crack. But you want to make sure that that's kind of clean of any oils or anything else hair products, whatever. You want to kind of clean that off pretty good. That's the part that's got to make the contact, that gold strip on that band.
Okay.
And once you get it figured out, it goes so much easier. And then it'll be like, I don't know what the fight was, but once it connects, then you're good. So yeah.
And also my win was after our meeting Monday with getting that darn Mojo connected.
And that
I downloaded after that a couple days later just to make sure I still remembered how to do it, and it went.
Nice. All right. Actually, I'm going to look.
Is it still connected?
Should be, yeah, it was then.
Linda's like,
Working on your end. Let me check my end. And let's see.
yeah, as long as you upload all your stuff after you take your measurements, if you upload every time, it should go into here. Yeah.
Okay. It's giving me fits again and not uploading on my end. So I will work on that and let you know. So, you have to get
If you need help with that, give us a call.
right? Exactly. So I will figure that out. I might have to get on with Mojo again tomorrow. Me and Jess are meeting like this.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stopping.
Thanks for all your help on that.
Yes, thank you.
We will get it. And like I said, I know they're working on so many things on the back end of that, and their customer service is wonderful. So Jess is so good about trying to help. So we will get it figured out.
It's just not going over the mountains. That's all.
It's something.
Well, it did come up on my chronometer.
Did it? Okay. Well, good. Then we're off to a start. So we'll keep working on it. But so keep going. Tell me about your week. We'll figure this stuff out tomorrow in class.
The week went pretty quick, pretty good. Although I woke up the other morning and my blood sugar was 69. I was a little concerned about that, my glucose. And it was because the meter was flashing hypo, I think it was. Yeah. So I'm not fasting. I'm not fasting at all. And I'm still working at getting those fats in. I mean, last night before I went to bed, I took 2 tablespoons of olive oil because I was so low on my fats.
Yeah. Linda, I just want to tell you on that, when you are waking up, first of all, your numbers are phenomenal for you just starting and building your chemistry. That's why I'm kind of slowing you down a little bit, just to make sure we can get those hormones fat and happy and everything's working good. So don't worry about that. And as long as you're feeling okay, so when that glucose is going to start cleaning out and coming down, as long as you're feeling okay. Now, if you start to feel lightheaded or dizzy or nauseous or anything like that, then by all means, eat something and, do what you got to do to bring it back up. But if you're down and you're waking up with a 69 and your ketones are up and you're feeling good, don't worry about it. That is the win in it. And so even though the meters are used to being used for diabetics, where if they drop down that low, they're struggling and don't feel good, and it's reminding them to go eat. So just know the meter sometimes the alarms on those meters don't quite understand our chemistry, that we are trying to get that glucose that low, and we are working on. Now, if your ketones are going high and your glucose is going high, then we got a problem. Then we worry about that. That's more of a ketoacidosis. But the way we do this, that's why the shift of the glucose coming down and the ketones going up, that's how we're doing it safe. That's how your body the chemistry shift is working. There's a total difference between ketosis and ketoacidosis. So that's what people get so nervous with and sometimes hear it wrong and, don't quite understand what we're doing for that chemistry. So as your glucose is dropping down, those ketones are going up and you're feeling good, you're okay. If you wake up and you feel awful for some reason and something like that, then we worry. But as long as that glucose is coming down, you are cleaning house. You are deep cleaning that liver. You're pulling that glucose out of the liver and using it up. And you're waking up with a glucose that good is phenomenal. So good job. So keep going, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. But then the next day it was back up to like 78. So
that is still phenomenal.
That's awesome. That's awesome numbers. It really is. Just make sure that there's some people on here that get some crazy good numbers. I mean, they really do. Their ketones jack way up. Their glucose goes really low. That is not the norm. Most people, it'll be a slower transition. So be patient and let your numbers do what they do. This is not a competition between anybody because it's so individual. Everybody will get different numbers, and you'll be healing different things at different times, and it just puts you at different levels. So somebody may have phenomenal numbers right off the rip, and then somebody may have terrible numbers, and it just takes forever. The best thing to do is stay consistent. Let your body take you where it's going to go.
Okay.
Just listen to your body. And from what you said in your post on the messenger group, I looked at it too right before Kevin answered you, and Kevin answered you perfectly. I was saying the same things as Kevin's thing came right up. You're doing awesome. Just sit there and stay there and enjoy all that healing that's happening.
Okay.
And then at one point, your body will push you into the next phase of your going, but you're rocking it so far.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Good.
Okay.
And someday, and what'll happen is what you're doing right now will either become easy or it will feel like it quits working.
Yes.
Then you're going to then you need to take it to the next level. But you are doing great for just starting and just tracking and just doing all of that. Phenomenal. So good job.
I started on the
liver wrap.
the liver wrap.
All right.
Good. We all need that. We all need the liver. Take a couple bites a week. You got to do it. It is the best thing for your brain, your health, everything.
No, I meant the oil and
the castor oil on the wrap.
Oh, gotcha. All right. I thought you meant eating the liver. No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
The castor oil liver on the liver in a compost.
Compost.
I can't even talk tonight.
There ain't no way, hon.
We're supposed to put manure on it too.
Nope,
That
not
too.
gonna happen. That's a hard no.
Stuff in, stuff out. You never know what's going to happen. Put it on your plot. Good job. So how are you feeling with it? Can you tell anything?
No, not really. But I was having like pain, like cramping pain in that side over there. So
That's when you started it, right?
yeah, I started it then, and that subsided. I usually take something, a gallbladder supplement that helps me with it, because of my gastric bypass.
Yes.
And I don't have a gallbladder, so
you got a double whammy going on. So just stay nice and slow and steady, but those will help.
That's what I would do.
What is the word I'm looking for? It's
I
not
don't know.
compost. What is that word? Does it? Stina, come in and tell me what I'm thinking.
Compress.
Compress. Jeez.
That's what.
Okay.
My brain isn't fried at all, right?
Yeah. But that's it. That's another circumstance where slow and steady will get you where you want to go. Just nice, slow and steady, and keep rinse and repeat.
Yep. And you're getting there. Again, for you to be this early on in your journey and to getting those kind of numbers and those kind of results, and that glucose has dropped that low, that's amazing. So good for you. I'm just proud of you.
Yep.
Good job. Rob, come in and tell me how you're doing while we're here.
Doing good. I think I told you I have chronometer set up on the other computer so I don't conflict with Linda's. I have to put my numbers in, but I've got it all written down, what I ate and everything else. So it's just a matter of me sitting down and doing that. I've been kind of preoccupied this last week. I finally got a surgery day for my hernia.
Oh, there you go.
Good job.
And I've been waiting since July.
Right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so that all started taking place Tuesday. I found out I'm going to have it
Tuesday.
this coming Tuesday on the 24th. So
Oh, wow.
I've been at Kaiser and doing pre-op and picking up medication, pre-op blood work and all this stuff. So been a little busy.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Well, we will be praying for you for
Yep.
your surgery.
Prayers for you,
And
brother.
yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
You'll be in our prayers for all of us. So good job.
But other than that, I checked my stick. I'm peeing purple.
Hey,
Good.
perfect.
So,
Good
I
deal.
know I'm there. I just need to enter my numbers to see where I am, ratio wise.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start checking the blood here.
Good.
And just know, as you start setting up using chronometer more and more, that kind of has a memory in it that will actually start remembering what your common foods are. It gets easier and easier to enter as you get going. The hardest part is the beginning. So once you get going in it, it will remember the things that are your normals and your common use things. So it gets easier and easier. So just start putting them in and then they'll start popping up for you and it'll get easier.
Right.
Very good.
Good job, guys.
Yes. Ooh. Sorry, he's talking to me. Okay. Sorry. Dana, do you want to come in and say hi? Check in.
Hey,
Hi. Come
Hello,
on in.
Dana.
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. Well, I've been doing drboz keto continuum for a while. I just didn't realize that there was a free group out there.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of coaches that do free ones.
Yep.
So I just happened to find you when the sardine challenge came up.
Sweet.
So
I'll
That
rock
was
you with.
fun.
I'll go with that. I'll do the sardine challenge with you.
oh yeah, I love sardines.
I'm not there. I can't get there. I'm trying. I try. So tell us, how's your journey going? What level of keto continuum are you in? And where do you stay out at? And what are you trying to get to?
Well, I'm really confused because I took a break. And so I didn't know where to restart, but I had gotten up to 36-hour fast.
Nice.
I was doing that. I was doing the alternate day fasting for a while. I've been fasting for 2 years. And then I found drboz maybe a little over a year ago.
Perfect.
And then we found out about the keto continuum. And of course, my mom and I jumped on it right away. So,
Good deal.
so I'm just trying to get my group back. I thought I needed to get my hormones back. And so December 30th, I really just hunkered down and started doing everything I was supposed to do and not kind of winging it, and gave up my protein shakes because I
Yeah.
have a hard time chewing meat. So it's really hard for me to get protein in. So I usually just do protein shakes. So it's been interesting, but I've done really, really well this week. My numbers, my glucose finally is below 100. It's been like hovering in the 80s. And
Nice.
so this morning I did a 46-hour, which ended up being 45 hours. And I had my highest ketone reading of 5.4.
Nice.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I was like,
crazy.
Okay,
I
so a
was
couple
like-
questions. How far, when you say you fell off the wagon and you started back in, how far did you fall backwards? Did you fall back to eating total carbs and sugar? Did you just fall back to a couple times a day? How far back did you go?
It was about a month where I was trying to see if I could do carbs. I was like, well, I'm just going to try, because we're pretty social people, and people can kind of get, like, oh, come on, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt
Peer
you.
pressure.
And, yes. And we're all in our 50s and 60s, and they were like really pressuring me. So,
Just know at 50, here's one thing Lance and I stick with. At 50 years, I'm older than him. So I'm 56. He's 50.
You don't
No,
even know my age.
Never mind. I don't even know how old he is. I know he's younger than me, but at our age,
52.
whatever it is, we are allowed to just say no. No is a complete sentence, a complete answer. I owe no explanation. No, period. Drop it. Leave me be. And don't feel bad about that.
So I went to the beach in the end of September for Bike Week. We ride motorcycles. So
Sweet.
I did really well the first 3 days, and then I kind of just fell off the wagon, and they're like, here, have another beer. Here, have this.
That'll do it.
I had already found out that I couldn't drink beer, so that just messed up my gut really bad. So I started noticing, I was really zoning in on what could affect my gut, and I really wanted to heal it. So I was really upset. So October, November, December, I was a little in and out, and I was doing some 20-hour fasts and stuff. I was trying to get back to it, but then December 30th, I was like, I got COVID again in December, and I had a triple steroid shot, and so I put on weight, about 10 pounds, and then I was like, no, I'm done. So I just started, I'm like, I'm not going to fast. I'm just going to get that fat in, and I re-downloaded the chronometer and started entering and stuff in. And I guess I've been doing that since not chronometer, since the 1st of January. I was doing Carb Master, but anyway, it's been going really well. I mean, I finally dropped all the weight that I gained to 10 pounds. In the past week, I've lost like 7 pounds. So it's really, it's coming down. And I have a lot of surgeries from a car accident I was in. So I have to have my weight, my body mass index has to be pretty low. So I really get panicky when my weight goes up, because I know that they're not going to, in case I have to have a bone graft or something. So, but anyway.
Well, good for you, girl. It sounds like you've been through a lot, but it sounds like you've got your path going in the right direction. A couple things I would throw out at you. What did you notice when you stopped the protein shakes? Did you notice your glucose coming down?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those protein shakes, and anybody that doesn't understand that, the protein shakes, that ground protein goes into the bloodstream too fast. So everybody's, oh, it's a good protein. No, protein should be chewed. Protein should be eaten,
We
we
weren't designed to make a powder.
When it's that fine and refined like that, then it goes so fast into the bloodstream, which again will increase your glucose and decrease your ketones and everything like that. So good job, Dana. Stay the course like that. Keto continuum is just keep stepping down those processes as your body adjusts. What else? There's something else I was going to throw out there. I can't think tonight. keep your numbers going and let that carry you through. Tell you how fast you need to go. You'll be able to do that. But the protein shakes, giving that up and keep going. You also know if you've done keto continuum, you know the body will process a ketone or alcohol, not both. So even if it's a light beer, don't let people confuse you and say, oh, it's a light beer or it's a carb friendly alcohol. What the distilled ones that don't have the sugar and stuff in them. It's not even just the sugar. Yes, the sugar is awful for you too, but it's the alcohol that is in it. Even a light beer has alcohol in it, and your body will work on a ketone or it will work on alcohol.
Burns alcohol first. That's
alcohol
the first,
is the first
thing
choice.
that will get burnt is alcohol.
So as soon as alcohol goes in your mouth,
everything else stops.
I know.
Alcohol.
I think our group of friends are getting tired of me. I'm always educating them. I'm like, look, I said, everything that you eat is not going to get processed. It's going to concentrate on the beer and the liquor first. And I'm like, I don't want that.
Right.
Because I mean, I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost about 70 pounds.
Nice. Good
for
job.
you.
Congratulations.
So they know that they've seen me at my heaviest, and I'm short. So, but anyway, yeah, if a problem comes up, I'll definitely, hop on and ask, because I know that it might, come up here soon with, having another surgery coming up next month.
Surgeries are always tough, and they always throw me back too. And I feel like I take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back every time I have a surgery. So I feel for you, and we'll be praying for you as well. Jump in and bring your friends, have your friends come and join on. If they have questions, come in and check us out.
Absolutely.
Have a gathering on Sunday nights at 8:00. Just have everybody jump in. It'll be good. But good job, Dana. Let us know if we can help you.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Yes. Thank you. And welcome. All right, Stina, come on in. Tell us how you're doing.
Pick on Steve.
I'm up. Oh my God.
I seen you jump.
I just want to say, I appreciate all of you that are here, even the ones I haven't met yet. You're going to learn how important it is to have this tribe of people to keep you honest every day. And I appreciate Tammy and everybody that just talks and shares their stories. It's so important. And I'm gearing up. I am going to do the 21-day, and I'm getting ready to bare my chronometer soul. And
there's no hiding on that one.
I'm going to own it. I'm just going to do the best I can. I'm one of those people, unfortunately. I fight for every ketone. I fight for every ounce of weight loss. And I don't really know. We don't really know why it's so hard for me, but I'm staying the course. I'm doing this until I figure it out. But I'll say this, I'm in less pain, I'm happier, and I'm healthier, regardless of weight loss. Yep. So that's my win. The struggle is real for me every day, but you know what? That's okay. I'm going to do it.
We always said the weight loss is a happy bonus.
Right. And I would love that to be it. But for me, I guess that might be last. But you know what?
And you may have more healing inside that you're doing that you need healed first before that weight comes off. And that's what you want. You want that deep healing to take effect. And then when you start to lose weight, you're going to say, yes, I'm healed inside.
Yeah. Yet, like many people, this body's been through hell. I mean, I've had multiple diseases I've dealt with, and just various different things. So, but this journey is worth it. And good luck to anybody who's on it, and continue doing it. And, it's not a straight line.
It's not.
There's little zigzags on the path. Christmas, whatever, COVID, yes. Very strange things happen to you when you have COVID. And I have numbers to show for that. But in any event, I wish you all well. I'm doing good this week. So
good job, Stina. We're so happy to have you with us. And she is so right. When we talk about a tribe, my veterans will always hear me say, we all got better things to be doing on a Sunday night at 8:00 than sitting here with a bunch of people we don't really know. This right here is what makes each of us succeed. Because when we go to work or we go outside with our friends and family, you have to justify and reason and explain why you're eating, why you're not eating, what you're drinking, what you're not drinking. It's all, and it becomes a negative almost input sometimes. And it's like, dang it, why does it matter what I'm eating? I'm here to see you. It doesn't matter if I'm eating or not. But when you have to keep doing that, sometimes it is so nice and part of the brain health. And anybody that knows Dr. Boz knows her baby is brain health. The whole reason of Keto Continuum is for the brain health, but you can't heal the brain if you can't get your brain in ketosis. So her whole meaning in that is being with like-minded people, building the neurons in the brain, those mirror neurons. We are with like-minded people, sharing a like-minded journey. All of us look like we're all old enough to have kids and things like that. Remember the old saying that I know my parents always said, and I always said to my kids, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And it is so true. And it works for us adults as well. It's not just kids and peer pressure, like Lance was saying. It is also, look who we hang with. Just like if you're out hanging with the guys that like to drink a lot of beer and you're sitting there, it's hard to not partake in that. If you're out with the girls and you're having girls' day out and a lunch and a glass of wine and some mimosas. My daughter and I went to a yoga class this last weekend and it was wonderful. I love the class, wonderful people. And they had mimosas afterwards. It wasn't about the mimosas. I didn't care. We didn't have the mimosas. We took our own ketones and we were fine. We went and enjoyed the company. We went and enjoyed each other. We got some exercise in, but it wasn't about the mimosas and we were fine. But it wasn't one of those we didn't have to reason and justify. So when you go public, sometimes it does get hard. So that is why the tribe is so important. Come here with like-minded people that aren't moaning and groaning and complaining to you on why you're not eating or what you are eating or not, whatever. This is why this is so important. The mirror neurons in the brain needs like-minded people.
Just the reinforcement.
Yep. It's, again, you guys are our future. You guys are our friends and family. This is our like-minded tribe.
Yep.
So this is where you come to spew and question. And we each learn. That's even part of, Stina talking, being in the 21-day course. That is how we learn in that 21 days so much, because we're in small groups just like this. And this is how, when you see somebody else's stumbling or somebody else's win or somebody else's what's going on with my body, you may not understand it in your own body, but you're going to see it in somebody else. And it happens every time we're on lives together. You hear something that's like, oh my gosh, that might be my body as well. And it goes back and forth. Hey, come on in, Laura. Nice to see you.
I just want to say to the people that are struggling with the visiting with friends and stuff, it does get easier.
It does.
And you just have to stick to your guns. I'm on vacation with a couple and the meals are a big thing for them. And they just know I don't eat after 2 o'clock. So I'll have breakfast and lunch with them. And I sit and visit with them and have just hot water or tea. And they still say, oh, just have that. And I'm like, nope, I'm fine. Thanks. And they kind of get used to it. And, it's the less I talk about it, the easier it is for them.
Yep.
And so
people get awkward with it. Yeah.
Yes. But sometimes if you're strong, they don't care. Yep. They're trying to talk you into having what they're having. It's almost like they're justifying what they're eating.
Right.
But I mean, it's you can look at it as peer pressure, or you can look at it as you're strong. Don't worry about it. I don't need it. I'm good. It does get easier. I've done it for 3 years, but it does get easier the more you do it.
Yep.
And I socialize all the time going out with people, and I don't eat. I don't eat after 2. So
good deal.
That's just what works for me.
Good job, Laura. We're so proud of you. And just
to know you guys can all do it.
Yes.
Thank you.
For Laura to close her eating window at 2 o'clock, first of all, I want to give her some credit and applause because that is rocking it. That is amazing to finish your eating window by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What that means is from 2 o'clock to when she goes to bed, nothing goes in her mouth. So
until the next morning,
her glucose has time to clean up all day from whatever she does all evening long. All that energy she's burning, she's cleaning up, she's cleaning house. Consider that deep cleaning in the liver again. Nothing is going in until the next day. Then it's probably not even very early. And knowing Laura, she's strict. She's good at this, and she'll get up and get going in it and be done again by 2. So she is not stimulating that glucose 15 times a day all evening long and then going to bed. So that is why she has won. That is why she is so good at this, and her chemistry is strong because her chemistry is carrying her because she's done the work. So once you do the work, it gets so much easier. It's hard at the beginning when you're trying to get over those humps. And she struggled. I mean, we learned Laura was in the last 21-day one in my group, and we learned so many things off of each other just to clean up those. And we were all veterans. We were all people that have done it, have worked through, and you still learn those little steps that you need to learn. How did we clean it up just a little bit more and a little bit more? And when you get that good at it and your chemistry starts going, then you're not fighting all those fights that you're fighting at the beginning. You're over it and it gets easier, and it just, then you get in a rhythm. Then when you go to socialize with people, it's not a problem. Like Laura says, it gets easier. They don't care. You know, my daughter's on here. When the kids all come over now, we don't fight over, we're not having hot dog buns with if the kids still want hot dogs, they can have hot dogs or a hamburger or whatever. We just don't have buns with it. It's not a fight. It's not an argument. It's not even a debate. You know, the kids know what they can have and what they can't have. It's easy. You know, we have cheese sticks, we have meat sticks, we have whatever, you know, snacks for them. The carnivore crisp snacks, all those things come in handy for the kids and stuff like that. But even with the adults, it just gets easier and easier the stronger your chemistry gets. It really does. So thanks for chiming in, Laura. How are you doing? Do you want to check in? Tell us how you're doing anyways, even if you are on vacation.
No, I'm doing good. My numbers are good. I'm steady. I still have some more weight to lose, but I'm not focusing on that right now. I'm just focusing on keeping my eating window. I'm going to have to do some other stressors, which will happen after I get back from vacation. I'll have to get back into my weight. Well, and get back into my weights and my sauna. The sauna at the resort we're staying at is closed. So,
oh man, bummer.
I know, that was my whole week was going to be a sauna every day, because I've been doing that at home. And so I can tell the difference when I'm not doing it. But I'm good. I brought food with me. 10 pounds of food probably. I travel with everything. I travel with meat sticks. I travel with my own tea. Yeah, I travel with everything.
So do we.
My peely nuts and everything that I need. So I'm good. We're leaving tomorrow and I'm out of food, which is fine. So we'll be on the plane tomorrow. So it's all good.
That's perfect. Good job. Nice planning.
I was going to say too, the more you do it, the less hungry you get. When you get a rhythm going, I'm not even hungry. Like when I go out to dinner, I'm not tempted by anything. I'm not even hungry. So in the beginning I was, so don't get it wrong. I mean, it takes a while. Once you stick with it long enough, you do get a rhythm going. Yeah. So I'm all good.
It does. And it gets easier and easier. So but what she's saying by that is her chemistry is established and the chemistry is carrying her. So that is the win in it, is after that's why we take so long building that foundation at the front. Hey, Trisha, so good to see you. I'm glad to see your sweet face. You know, when you lay that chemistry down and that chemistry is set properly and all those hormones are working, that is when this gets easier and easier. That's why I say, if you're going to stretch this out and make it a long-term thing, take your time building that foundation. Take your time getting those fat macros right. Take your time getting chronometer set up and using Mojo. Use all those tools going back to the basics. That is how we're going to know when your chemistry is ready. And my body is slower than anything. His body will jump right back in. But I'm so much more damaged. I have so much more mitochondrial damage and everything in my body compared to what he's ever had. So when we start going in the right direction again, his body will jump in really quick. Mine takes them a while to get the ball rolling. It's just harder. You know, it's just more work. So it's things you've got to learn to juggle that. You've got to learn how it's going to affect your body and your numbers. And everybody is different. So that's the beauty of learning to read your numbers in that DVR. So, all right, Ian, you want to come say hi and jump in? He's always got some good news coming on.
Oh, hi guys. Hi to everybody. Delighted to be here again.
Glad you're here, Ian.
What a wonderful group you guys are. It's marvelous. I just, one of the previous speakers kind of tweaked me. I think it was Dana about, I've been in keto with Drboz for a couple of years, but I hadn't this workbook, the keto workbook. I started January, second week in January. The first week in January, I fat adapted under your great direction, and that worked well. And I'm rejoicing because I filled in now, it's been 2 weeks, filled in all the paper and all the things and comments and stuff like that. And it's really one of the things that jumped out at me this past week, because my numbers went a little wonky, but what happened was I had to travel unexpectedly 2 times in the week. And that really throws you off. And that stress and cortisol, I think was, I didn't think I did much different, but it's that cortisol that really shows the difference. So
it does.
It was just, for a person of my personality type, I find a lot of enjoyment and comfort in keeping these numbers and putting them in and doing it that way. It really brings the program alive. And again, I've always been an advocate of, there's a device called a Newton's cradle, and it's a little wooden structure, and there's 5 stainless steel balls that are suspended by strings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I've always been like a 4-ball person. So you take 4 balls, put everything in, jump in with both feet, so that's the way I describe myself. So
Nice.
I'm really, really thrilled to be connected with you guys, and having these tools is marvelous. Proper use of them can really benefit. Chronometer is a marvelous tool as well. It's really helpful. So that's about all I want to say. Oh, the highs and lows again. The numbers at the beginning of the week, because I was doing the fast, seemed to be pretty consistent, and then having to travel, even while fasting, my numbers jumped, and I wonder what's going on. But that's that cortisol coming in and the stress. So that explained that. So that's about it. So thank you so much for your support and encouragement. All the best to each and every one of you.
Well,
Thank you, Ian.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
You
Awesome
got it.
job.
You got it. Again, like you said, using those tools, again, it's making those mirror neurons. It is getting back to the basics, using the tools. And even we all know the science, most of us veterans, we know the science, but implementing it is where the differences come in, and that accountability. And that drboz workbook is amazing, because if you fill it out and you're a numbers person and filling out those charts, it helps. Now, if you're a person that gets flustered with all of that, but still you have to track, you have to get your chemistry going in the right direction.
It just gets you in the frame of mind of putting something. So you have to pay attention to something to put it into the book. And just that simple process right there, you're already paying attention. It's already forefront in your mind of, now I got to put that in a book. Even if you don't put it in the book, it's still in the forefront of your mind. And that's the important part.
And I will say this too. If you track at the beginning diligently, use Chronometer, use Keto Mojo, and you fill all that in, you will be able to find out what works for you. Now, I don't always have to track. Now, if I'm off the rails and something happens, of course I track. Or if we eat something different, then I track. But we have it down. When we find something that works, we rinse and repeat, and we do it over and over and over. We don't change up a lot. We don't go buy a whole bunch of different foods and try different recipes. I'm not a recipe person. Everybody's like, give me a recipe. Show me what you pick your meat, throw it on the grill, add the fat. It's that simple. There is no recipe. That is what we eat. And everybody says, how do you guys, well, what do you eat the next day?
Meat
on the grill and fat. It's that easy. And like Laura was saying, you are not hungry, and the food doesn't run our lives anymore. That's the cool part.
And once you get those fats up, I mean, it's
smooth sailing.
Oh,
then
wow.
You don't have to track as much. Then you're not glued to Chronometer trying to juggle numbers and figure out where you're at on carbs and things like that, because I know what works for my body. Now I just do it again. If it worked yesterday, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. It's just, that's how you get your chemistry going in the right direction. But tracking at the beginning, when you're making those first steps and getting that chemistry shift, you can read those numbers and know how fast your body's transitioning.
Again, and it also puts it in your brain.
Yeah.
It makes it the first thought you're thinking of.
So next time you walk past the cookies while you're out with your girlfriends and everything is sitting there, everybody's having dessert, your numbers are going to come to mind. Is it worth me giving up everything I just worked all week for a bite of a cupcake that is not going to be good, that is not going to be the dopamine response in the brain that it used to be? And most of the time, that's what you find out.
And you'll go, that cookie is 13 carbs. I don't want it.
Or be like my grandson that figured out that one thing was like 32 carbs or something. He's like, it says it's keto friendly. It's like, but it's not keto friendly. It's awful. But the advertisement says keto friendly. So teaching the kids to read those labels too. It's just a win the whole way around. All right. So good job, Ian. Bud, you want to come in and say hi?
Hi, bud.
You are killing it this week.
Hi.
And come on in.
Yeah, I'm doing good. My first day of the advanced 16-8, I messed up that evening. I wasn't thinking I had a half a cup of coconut milk that evening.
That'd do it.
But I guess all her teachings on that one didn't sink in entirely in time.
Well, hey, let me help you fix that. Start using your Chronometer and put everything in the Chronometer before you eat it or drink it. And that will help you plan ahead of time, because there'll be things like that you'll think no big deal. And then you put it in there and it's like, holy cow, I didn't realize I think you guys have heard me talk about when we were doing it with avocados. You know,
Oh, I
we
was so bummed.
we were eating our body weight in guacamole when we
Putting
first
the guac down, and all of a sudden she says, "There's carbs in avocados."
Avocados are awful. You
Yeah,
know,
like
so-
6.6 in the whole one. That surprised me. That
No,
one.
I think there's 12, ain't it 12 and a whole? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
in a whole. I think that's 6 is a half. So be careful and make sure you're putting it.
6 is a half. 0.5.
Well, I've been running for a week and a half on 6 carbs because in one of the programs she had, and I can't remember now why, but she said to keep your carbs at 7 or less.
Yep.
Now I'll have to go back and watch the courses again to find out why she said that. But yeah, my fat's usually around 77 to 79. Carbs are about 6, and then the protein are 15 to 18. So
Nice.
And those the macros on your proteins and stuff are not as important, especially when you're laying that foundation at the beginning. It's hitting those fat macros and keeping those carbs as low. When she's talking about keeping the carbs at 7 and under like that, for those of us that have major insulin resistance, if I get anywhere near 10, 15 carbs, my numbers will tank. I have to stay under 10. It's just not an option for me. And it's just that's my body, because my body is that broken, that insulin resistant, things like that. So you may find if you get closer up, your numbers won't be quite as good. Up to that 20 is the cutoff for that nutritional ketosis. For those of us that need the healing, 20 is that cutoff. So
yeah.
Good job.
Good job, bud.
I was smiling because on another site or something, some guy told me today, he says, you're going to be brain dead not eating carbs. Our brain has to have carbs or we will die.
No.
Your body is not that stupid. Your body will manufacture what carbs it needs. You will have enough glucose to do that. You are fine. You don't need carbs. You need a little bit of glucose in there, but your body will do that for you. Eat the meat, add the fat.
Yep.
Simple enough. That's what your brain needs to heal. And if that wasn't true, think about it. Everybody that's all the carb foods and all the standard American diet that we've all been,
It would have worked.
it would have worked, and we all wouldn't have dementia, seizures, and ADD, and all those things that now have to reverse.
Yep.
And I mean, you can tell. I mean, the medications I've been on, the damage in my brain from it, it's a continual struggle. There are days I just can't recall, and I was on Oxycontin for 18 years. So you'll learn those medications and those glucoses being high and damaging the brain is not easy to overcome. That is why we have to stay so diligent in this. This isn't just, I'm going to do this till I lose some weight. I'm doing this for a lifetime to heal my brain from the damage. So it's back to that brain health kicks in, but you got to get that glucose out of the brain to heal the brain.
Yep.
So good job.
And to heal you of diabetes.
Any questions we can help you with this week?
No, I don't think so.
Good job and welcome. Glad to have you. All right.
Keep it up, bud.
Miss Trisha, come and say hi. It's so nice to see your beautiful face. We've missed you.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? You doing better? Feeling better? How are you? Fill me in.
Doing okay. I'm trying to get back in the groove, trying to do things. Stomach's still a little crappy, but I'm getting there. I'm gonna get back in the groove. That's all that matters, right?
This is the place to do that.
Right.
That's right. That's right. I was just saying to my husband, I was telling him the story about the gentleman that just said his friend told him that his brain's going to be dead from not eating carbs. I was like, well, that gentleman's smarter than that guy that just told him that. So,
Right.
And he's in the right place. So I was actually impressed with him talking about that. So,
Ain't it funny how we
but
kind of have to just shake our heads sometimes?
yeah, I was clicking through and I saw Facebook and I was like, oh, Tammy and Lance. Yeah, so I actually forgot it was Sunday night, so I'm glad I saw it. So
Good.
I'm
Glad.
here and I'm starting over. So
Good. Well, we'll help you with that beginning steps. Let us know. One thing Trisha touched on is this yucky tummy. My cure for that is always put the effort into the homemade bone broth. That homemade yummy bone broth that cooks for 4 and 5 days on your stove until those bones are just brittle. I cook it. I make it every time. Any of my locals, I'll make it for you. I make 40 quarts at a time. So that is how much
oh God, I wish I was local.
What?
Oh, she makes a ton of it.
If let me figure out, maybe we could ship them to you. Maybe if I could, seriously, I mean, I make 40 quarts at a time, so I have plenty, but I have a butcher a half a mile down the road from me that I can get all the bones. I can get the good stuff. The broth is just phenomenal. And it's one of those, is it the best tasting stuff all the time? Nope. I look at bone broth as a medicine. You know, it is the cure that we need. And, you know, when your tummy issues, bowel issues, anything like that, the bone broth is the answer. So have all that good, healthy bone broth. I hope you got some simmering as we get you going, and it heals the gut, heals the GI tract, everything. So good job. We've missed you, Trisha.
Yes, one day at a
We love
time.
you. Let me know if I can help. Call me. Bug, come jump in. See your hand raised.
Hold up. Are you like offering to give our bone broth away?
Hey, to Trish, I would do that. I would do that for Trish.
I'm just kidding.
No. Okay. All right. Who wants to go next? Who we got? Sandy, do you want to come in and tell us how you're doing? Maybe. Can you hear me tonight?
We're gonna pour. She's gonna.
Yeah, thank God I've got good sound and everything. I didn't even notice it in the beginning. And then I thought, first time in the last 2 weeks.
Right, last 2 weeks.
Good job.
Yeah, so this is wonderful. I was talking with a friend last night, and you know, I need to guard my mouth a little bit more and maybe not share, but I'd mentioned my glucose, and she hit the ceiling. It was like 72. And she said, you have got to get some, what'd she say? Anyway, she wanted me to hurry up and eat and get some carbs in to raise it and whatever. And I just ignored what she said.
Good. Do you see everybody on here going?
I know, and I knew it, but it just really surprised me because this lady has so many health issues. And
right. Okay. Stop right there. Did you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Look how healthy you are. Look how good you're doing. Look how you have amazing numbers. Do not let somebody that is more unhealthy than you
tell you what to do.
Tell you what wins or what don't win. So good for you, Sandy. So
yeah. Well, I had reached out her for some, because we've been friends forever, and I needed an uplifting for my spirit. Didn't need to talk about food.
Right.
Now I don't know if I can go to her for the other either.
You can do that. The friendships are good. The friendships are good.
My numbers are good today, but I'm spending too much time in isolation. I've been sick for 2-3 days, so some of that I wasn't going to be going anywhere anyway. But I've got to pull myself out of this, and I'm not quite sure how to do it. So,
Sandy, one of the things for you, and just know, any of us that live in the North, that, you know, winters are tough. I know Wayne and Vicky talk about this too. They're in New York, and winters are tough, especially when it starts getting dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's dark in the morning when we start to work. It's dark in the evening. You know, it's rough. And we already deal with emotions and depression and things like that, that is hard. So one of the things I've got putting in my schedule this week is I am trying to get to the tanning bed. And it's one of those things, you know, Dr. Boz says 4 minutes in the tanning bed to help get my vitamin D levels up. Make sure you're taking your vitamin D, all those things that help with the moods and the emotions and the depression and everything. Just be a little more mindful of those things in the winter when it's so cold and so dark, and it is depressing.
If you get a sunny day, try to sit by a window. If you can get out in the sunshine. Yeah. Just let your face be in the sunshine. Yeah, let it do it. And I know it's not easy. I'm not a cold person, so I do not want to be cold. I could hibernate till about May. So that is truly, I do not like the cold. If it wasn't for church, I wouldn't come out until about mid-April. So, but that is those things you want to work on, Sandy. So good for you. First of all, you went and met a friend. That's going to put dopamine in the brain. That's going to make you feel better. Hopefully you walked away feeling better, meeting a friend and having that social time. So good for you.
Well, it was on the phone. I haven't been able to leave the house.
Okay. Well, even at that, calling a friend, doing something that makes you feel good. So hopefully she uplifted your spirit a little bit. Yep.
Well,
so good for you.
with the advice she gave me, it just, turned me back to what the program's all about, and I didn't get into a debate with her. I just let alone.
But
Good
that's
for you.
But that's good. You know what you need to do, and she can say what you need to do, but you don't have to necessarily listen.
And that's okay.
And that's
that is
okay.
where you don't have to argue it. You don't have to debate it. It's again, that is what we're all here for. Come in and do what you need to do.
You can always vent to us. You know that.
So,
Right.
you got like-minded people right here. So those mirror neurons in your brain are kicking in. That's exactly what these groups are for. So
Right. I don't know if the settings are right on my chronometer, because I did put weight on when I went off the rails. Doesn't take much to put it back on.
right. It happens quick.
So I don't know.
I would probably roll with what you have, because when you start rolling with what you have in your chronometer, your weight's going to come back down. So you won't have to adjust it again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because you're going to adjust it up
I mean, unless
to
you
follow
change-
your chronometer to adjust it back down.
So
Okay.
I mean,
Just-
I don't think you're not swinging that far.
No.
Okay. So I think just roll with what you have, and then your weight will come down to where it should be.
and maybe tomorrow during class we will go through some of that with you and see if you think it's that far off. We'll check. If you haven't gained
Yeah.
more than maybe 10 pounds, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So you're
More
fine.
than that.
You're
We're not
fine.
going to put a number on it. Don't worry.
Don't number on
Well,
it.
I'm not really sure, because I haven't left the house and I don't have a way to weigh myself here. So, it might be back down. And I know a lot of it was fluid, because I can see the difference and feel the difference in my legs.
Yeah.
Quite
you know.
possibly.
And that inflammation will come down as you get back on track. You'll start peeing out that inflammation again, and that stuff will take care of itself. So let's just get you back to the basics. That's why we're just going to build that foundation again and just get you going. But you waking up with that glucose in the morning, you always have the best numbers. So Sandy's one of those people. Her body kicks in. Her numbers are so good. I don't know what is in her body, but I've never seen numbers like this woman can make. So it's just, she does something great. And Sandy, we're just proud of you. I'm glad you're back on track, and we're here for you.
Yes.
Thank you. So, and really we need to get from whatever I'm on. I can't think of the name of the Mojo.
We need to get you from the Foracare over to a Mojo.
Right. Okay.
We'll get you. We'll work on that tomorrow. We'll get your link sent out and stuff like that. We'll get you one ordered. Then now that you have your password, we can get that switched over for you. So,
okay. Thank you.
oh, good. All right, honey, you have a good week. We'll see you tomorrow night in class.
Good job, Sandy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Morris, do you want to come and check in? We have another
Morris,
baby tonight.
Wilma,
Morris,
or Betty Lou.
Anybody want to check in? All right. Everybody just hanging out. Okay. If not, Bug, do you want to check in, or are you good? You just hanging out?
I'm trying to.
Oh,
Oh,
there she is.
there's Betty
Come on,
Lou.
Betty Lou. Come and check in.
Yeah.
There
she is.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Doing well here. I'm
Good.
freezing, but I always tell myself maybe that means I'm losing weight. So who knows? Lance, I put a question there in the chat for you.
What's it say here?
It said, I heard you say in the past, like you were really low energy or whatever, not feeling great. Can you just discuss that a little bit?
When I was really when I got right before my back surgery, I got really leaned out, and I was really in ketosis, really hard. Probably my lowest weight I've ever been since high school. I was like 200 pounds, and my body was running full tilt off of fats. And I didn't have my chronometer set quite right. I wasn't getting enough fats in for my body to run on. I ran all my fats out of my body by using them as energy, and I wasn't putting them back in my body enough. So I was running low on energy. I was hungry all the time. I mean,
Just know too, he
hangry.
went from like 275 pounds down to under 200. So he dropped all that weight. So his chronometer, we didn't update his chronometer.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I updated my chronometer, I found out how much fat I needed to have. And
He was like, oh my.
yeah, I was at one point, I think I needed 271 grams of fat per day to run on. and that was how much fat I needed. But if you're starting to feel that and you're using all your fat up, I mean, he'll really need to get leaned out to do that. I mean, you'd be really lean. But you can always increase those fats because that's what your body is running on. You'll use that as energy.
Okay, I'm thinking that's this week what maybe I just need to try to put more fats in the meals because he was just exhausted every day, but we're eating.
Now, does he have a job that he uses a whole lot of ketones at one, or a whole lot of steps and energy that he's burning? Like Lance, it's nothing for Lance to walk 20 to 22,000 steps in a day at work. So he burns so much fuel.
I burn a lot of fuel in a day.
So, and he is already at a good body weight and everything like that. So, you got to kind of play all those factors come into play to how much. And, if I would have that much fat in me, I would just gain 50 pounds. So you've got to play it out how Chronometer is truly for you and your goals. So you've really got to watch your numbers in that.
But that's where tracking comes into play really, really good. You got to make sure that you're tracking that way, how much fat you are putting in. So if he's not hitting his fat macro, he needs more fat. Because that's what if he's switching over to fat as an energy source, you need to have fat there to run on.
Oh yeah, I'm jealous of his numbers.
And that's more important though than the protein. Worry about the fat and stuff first and get in that eating window. All those things are more important than worrying about the protein or anything.
Because once you switch from that carb and sugar burner over to a fat burner, once that transition happens, your body says full throttle. I am using fat.
No, his body says that.
Well, most people's, and then you'll start using that fat. If you don't put it back,
you're going to
put it in your body, you're going to run out of energy. So you got to stop at the gas station to fill up.
Okay, I think we'll focus on that a little bit more.
But I would say make sure you're tracking. How much fat he's getting in, as opposed to what his macros say. Make sure his weight's correct, activity's correct, everything is correct in there, and it should give you the correct macro for it.
Yeah,
and just
check it.
When we did that, when we checked Lance at that time, we first figured that out. Some of my veterans that were on with us, we literally measured it out to just see what that many grams of fat was like.
I had it wrote down.
It was 1 cup plus a quarter of olive oil or avocado oil. So a cup and a quarter of olive oil was the equivalent of what he needed in fat a day. Now, we didn't just drink a cup and a quarter of avocado oil. That he had his fats in his meat and stuff like that, but it came out to an equivalent.
But it was a lot. It was a lot more than I thought it was.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, we just checked it earlier, just a bit ago, and it said he needed 196 grams.
Sounds about right.
So put different fats in your Chronometer and bring up. So put in like a cup of avocado oil so you can get the visual of how much fat that truly is. It's everybody will say, oh, I put a little bit of butter in my coffee and I put some MCT oil on my salad or whatever. You could go through a million little things like that. But when you add it up, you're still at a few, a quarter of a cup is max most people ever get to. It's just not, so 4 tablespoons, you got a quarter of a cup. That's a lot of fat to most people.
I think he has to eat 12 slices of Kirtland's thick bacon
to get it.
Oh, that shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, Lance could put that away in one sitting.
I was going to say 12 slices. Yeah, that's just an appetizer.
Well, that was just kind of shocking, though. It's like, whoa. It might have been even a little bit more than that because we had already entered a couple things in the Chronometer, but we were like, oh, that's like almost that entire package.
Right.
So here's how you start playing. When people say they want recipes, the next thing we start asking, we don't ask each other what you want for dinner. It's like, how many pounds of meat do you need tonight? It's, he gets his pound, a pound of bacon. And if you notice, bacon now comes in 12-ounce packages instead of 16-ounce packages.
Yeah.
Right,
price is higher. Everything is.
Here's one real quick for you, just to put it in perspective. 4 ounces of Kerrygold salted butter is 89 grams of fat.
So 4 ounces would be that. Is that 4
That's-
tablespoons? Yeah. 4
That's
tablespoons.
half of the package.
That's half of a square of Kerrygold is 89 grams of fat, according to Chronometer. If anybody needs over that, like I do, I'm like in 170, 180, 200 grams of fat range right now. I need the whole brick
Mm.
in
So
a day
he would need to eat 1 brick of Kerrygold butter a day.
to get his fat in him.
Now, just know how different ways.
We'll
Betty,
see
that
how
you
he
can-
likes that.
No, I'm just saying, but that just kind of puts it in perspective for
Yeah.
you, because you don't realize how much fat it actually takes.
One of the
Right.
big easy ways that really helps us do that, when, especially at the beginning, when we're trying to wake up those fat-based hormones, when leptin and ghrelin are not working yet, I make a bacon grease mayonnaise with the leftover bacon grease from the bacon, and you just use it, and I soften it until it's liquid, and I make it just like regular mayonnaise, or 1 egg, squeeze a lemon in it, some spices and stuff like that, but it makes a mayo. So it's almost like a garlicky aioli, that word. So it's almost like that, but it's an easy base. And then I can use that for ranch dip. I can use it for mayonnaise. I can make it garlicky. You can make it a savory. You can put flavors in it. You can put herbs in it, things like that. But it's a good base to get fats in you. So use that. It's a cheap way of doing it, because you're not paying, $4, $5, $6 for a thing of Kerrygold, and to go through that every day gets expensive.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
and here's another one real quick. I just pulled up coconut oil. 3 tablespoons of coconut oil is only 40 grams of fat.
Oh, wow. So if you're
Three-
if you're aiming for almost 200 a day, yeah.
That's 3 tablespoons, not teaspoons. That's 14 grams of coconut oil has 40 grams of fat in it. So just something,
It's a
and
perspective.
it's right in Chronometer, and you can go through and put
Yeah.
that in there. So, but
Yeah.
that gives you perspective of how much fat you actually need to run on.
And
Yeah.
any of the veterans too, when they go to do that, when you're hitting your fat macros and you're getting those hormones working, that is when we talk about your chemistry will carry you. The chemistry will carry you through those fasts, so you're not miserable. If we don't get enough fats in, I can't talk to me, our fats in us before we start a fast, our fasts are night and day difference.
Yep.
If
That's
we
So,
that is so true.
you
I
are
have-
white knuckling it, things just
Mhm.
change. It is just not easy. It's hard to do that way. So if you're not getting those fats in you, but that is the perfect example of how important those fat-based hormones are. And that, again, you're going to hear us say that over and over. When your fats are correct and your hormones are working, your chemistry will carry you through a fast.
Yeah, I've really been focusing on my fats this week. I should have focused on his a little bit more too, but because I took my remember, I don't remember who, but somebody said they did they closed their window about 8:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Last week. So I was like, they can do it, I can do it. Well, I didn't do 8:30, but I was like, I can certainly take it, and
close it up a little bit.
so my biggest meal of the day this week, and it seemed to work quite well, has been my breakfast, because I can do like scrambled eggs and kind of whip the oil into it, so you can't really tell it's there. So a few little things like that, and then add some, a little dollop of sour cream, all kinds of things. I've had the best eggs this week.
Good deal.
Good job.
Eggs are good too.
Eggs are such a good base and an easy food. That is another thing that we keep going for the kids. They can always go have hard-boiled eggs, dippy eggs, anything they want like that. Those are kind of transitions. Hey, Bug, do you want to come in and check in real quick and tell how the kids are doing on keto? We got a lot of parents on here and grandparents. Maybe she can. I don't know if she can. But keep going in that. Can you jump in, Bug? Anybody hasn't met, this is my daughter, and my grandkids are going to be the face of our Keto Kids Club. So she's the one, when I'm saying I do this as a grandparent, she's doing it as a parent and fighting the kids. But our kids have been doing great since before Christmas. I mean, we actually got Maddox. He wanted a Keto Mojo for Christmas, and we got him, and it took him 13 pokes the other day to get blood on his poor finger, but he is doing his own numbers and is just making progress in it. So it's just cool to see lead by example. The kids aren't perfect in it, and there's better options. So Bug's going to be the one that kind of fronts that and shows you how it's not perfect, but she has a little bit more leeway than I have. You know, she's never been really sick. She has a healthy mitochondria, healthy metabolism. So she can get away with things that I could never dream of getting away with, but it helps her with the kids. So jump in, Bug. Tell me how you're doing.
We are doing good. We have been working on Keto Kids actually all weekend. It's pretty fun. Maddox got this paper sent home with his report card, which, if you know what this is, all the kids in Ohio have to take a MAP test that you take at the beginning of the year. So this was kind of keto-ish for them. We wasn't really pushing it, but until I learned more about the brain science and everything behind it. So his grade, it was really exciting. His teacher told him it's very hard for you to at least go up 1 point. So in math, he went up. He started at 197 at the beginning of the year and went up to 219.
Are you talking about me?
Yes, I am. They can hear you. And then in his
Sorry.
reading, he started at 188 and went all the way up to 214, which I know it's kind of hard to see and a little goofy, but super, super proud of that. I have another paper here.
And that's just the difference in his brain function from the beginning of the year to now.
Yep, he went from using sugar as his brain energy now to ketones. And my other earbuds right there, you can listen to it. And then this is a really proud thing too, is they have this 40 book challenge they have to do. And he says, 40 books, I can do that. He has made a goal to do 100 books for this school year, and he is at 32 right now.
Sweet.
So it's pretty fun. Harper, all of her grades have went up. She has done amazing in school. She got honorable mention. It's just the difference in their sports activity. Harper races a car. Her reaction times, which what a reaction time is when the tree drops for the racetrack, is how fast and how quick she can react to move her car. And her reaction times have been crazy good, and sports are great. We just keep trying to, they're kids though. They'll go to school and a mozzarella stick will look good. So that's what they get. And I'm like, no, let's go back to packing. But
so good job, guys.
Trying to explain to them how it all works, we decided to make characters of how of explaining it. So we have keto ninjas to explain how the process works through the body, which is really fun. And I made them a flip through book. It's a little more detailed and in depth, but starting with the digestive system and everything, as they start, and then when they really want to know how it works, then you go in depth. If not, it's like, nope, sorry, you're not getting that today. This is what we have.
But I think what a win, just to see the improvement of their grades. You can see the improvement of their sleep, the improvement of even their attitudes around the house, because they are not getting those big highs and big lows with the sugar ups and downs and things like that. So it is so neat to see the difference of them. We don't worry about the weight as much with the kids, but Maddox has literally went from like 99 pounds to, I forget what he is now. But I mean, you just see their little bodies thin out because the inflammation goes away. And it's just such a cool thing to see. And even Dr. Boz, when she talks about her chancellor, that's a wrestler, Harper, she's talking about Harper, my granddaughter races a junior dragster, and that reaction time in the brain is what you could see the differences in. We have another client on here that races a Viper in a big, huge races, and his reaction time, he came in second. It's just all those things make a difference. Dr. Boz talks about Chancellor being a wrestler, and why he's doing so great in his tournaments right now is because when everybody's in that third match and things like that, everybody else runs out of fuel. Chancellor is running on ketones and fat. He's not tanking on energy. So he has that constant energy to win. When things get tough, he's got that energy when everybody else is out. So if you're fed on glucose and you're feeding on that, that is what's going to drop out and be over with so much quicker. You're fat adapted. Your body can always go find some fat. I don't know that I've ever heard of anybody that has no fat reserves. So for sports, for their academics, for all of it, brain health is where it's at in that reaction time and the work in the brain. So Bubba, I'm just so proud of Bubba and Harper putting it together. Your teachers caught me at church today and told me about how good your numbers are and everything. So when you see, we live in a small community, so I go to church with his teacher. And when you hear the people that are, it's not just, it's easy to look at somebody and say, oh, you've lost weight. Are you doing whatever? It's another thing when a teacher is saying, oh my gosh, I see the difference in his brain. That is developing a healthy hippocampus. That is saying, that's changing who he is in the future. That is changing the trajectory of his life. And I think that's just the win in it. Those are babies that we do have so much more influence over than you ever dreamed. You really can control and help how their brain develops right now at Maddox's young age, at these kids' age. You can develop how well their brain, or help how well they're going to develop into their growing, their adulthood. How they deal with relationships, how they deal with reaction, how they deal with losses and wins, and all of those things is in that development in the brain. So it's just huge to think we have that much power. So thanks for sharing, Bug. We love you, Bubba. So any questions for tonight? Do you want to come and jump in? Rob's son here. Does anybody, you want to come in and say anything? Jump in. I don't want to call you out if you don't want to, but if you want to come and say hi, I'm so
no, of course.
glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Hi,
What's
Mom.
your name?
My name is Chris.
Hi, Chris.
You see Eileen, the reading machine. My fiance is a book reader. So if you guys are on Instagram and
hi, Chris.
she would love the follow.
Sweet.
So my parents have kind of persuaded me to do the keto.
Good.
I've been toying with it for I don't know how long, Mom. A year probably.
A while.
A while. It's been a while. So I just was diagnosed with diabetes. I have real bad foot nerve in my feet. And my mom's just, oh, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to come to one of the meetings. So here I am. So I'm excited. I feel like I know what I need to do. I can't just get over that hump, but listening to you guys, it's very encouraging. Listening to my own parents, very encouraging. So,
and one thing I want to throw out to you, Chris, and it's tough for Guy to do it, but it's one decision at one time. It's deciding not to have that and to have that. Every time you make that decision, it'll build upon itself to where you can make that 2 and 3 times a day, and then 3 and 4 times a day. And then all of a sudden you're at a full day. So It's just one small decision, one small choice in the right direction. It will build on itself and continue to build on itself.
Okay.
And I just want to tell you, please know, my chemo left me with godforsaken horrible neuropathy in my feet. That is what they had me on 18 years of Oxycontin for. It was 120 milligrams of Oxycontin a day was just to let my feet touch the floor. I still had to have shoes on, padding on, goofy insoles, a million things to just try to let my feet touch the floor slightly. If they wore off in the middle of the night, I crawled to the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm telling you that to say when they give you or tell you have neuropathy, they tell you there's nothing you can do about it. The mylar sheath on the nerve is damaged and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm telling you, it's BS. If you get that glucose out of your body, get that ratio down like we did. I kept my ratio in the 30s, 20s and 30s for months.
And what she's talking about is the ratio. She's talking about glucose divided by ketones. That means the lower your glucose and the higher your ketones, you will have a lower ratio.
Okay.
And with you being diabetic, what I would suggest to you is build that foundation. You have to wake up every fat-based hormone and get it working properly and get you moving forward. But dropping that glucose down, and it's just like Lance said, you have got to look at everything that goes in your mouth and drop it, because I'm telling you, if your neuropathy is bad now, or even just it's okay, it's painful and a pain in the butt, but you're still walking, I am telling you, it gets worse. And it's awful. I literally used to feel like the bottom of my foot was sawed off.
But you can change it.
And you can fix it. And if you don't want to go backwards, I'm telling you, when I did a podcast interview today, and the guy was asking me, how do you stay so strict? How do you just eat like that? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I sit down at the table and I literally picture myself either not being at the table with my family, or I remember what it felt like to have to take Oxycontin to just be able to walk around my house a little bit all day. Every day of my life, I took Oxycontin. And I think I weigh that out every time. Is, you know, we went to family functions, or you go to a party, or you go to lunch with somebody. Is it worth, is your health and leaving your loved ones worth a piece of pizza?
Or that Mountain Dew.
Or whatever, you know, whatever your vice is.
Or that
and
Monster or whatever.
And I don't mean to sound morbid in it, but there is a part of it that I do look at it that serious. Everything that goes in my mouth is that serious.
Yes, she does.
I do. And I mean, I can sit there and start crying, and it's literally look up from the table. You know, my daughter and my grandkids are sitting right there. And it's the feeling of, if I wasn't sitting here because I didn't make it through my heart attack a few months ago, would they have cared what was on my plate? Would they have given two craps about what I ate at dinner last night? Or would they be saying, Mom and Nana's not here? Those decisions are important. You know, we have family members that need, you know, that have had feet cut off.
Yeah.
From diabetes.
Just and won't change, and won't change what they're doing.
You know, you can reverse that. Now, getting the mindset of wanting to is one thing. Getting the mindset to do it is another. But you have to get that mindset. You know, Dr. Boz just told me the other day, if I didn't have the chemistry I had, if I'd have had my heart attack 4 years ago before I met her, I wouldn't have made it off that plane that day.
Oh my
Would
goodness.
have carried her off the plane.
That in a bag. So it's those, you have, I don't want to be morbid, but I want you to think of how serious diabetes is. That's not oh, everybody has it now, so it's no big deal. It's serious. You're going to leave your loved ones faster and sooner.
And there is something you can do about it. You didn't get this way overnight. So it's going to take more than overnight to change it. But you can change it. It's one step at a time. And be gut-wrenchingly honest of doing it. If that's what you want to do, there must be something in you that's stirring in you for you to be here.
Yeah. It's no accident. God has a plan.
If that is the case, just start. Just go one more step.
And I don't know where your wife is with you, but I literally, the first time I went through the program, I did it by myself. And I literally had to sit with him one night and say, look, this is I mean, you guys have all heard this. I'm not doing this to fit my skinny jeans. I'm doing this to save my life. And I cannot do this and sit here and watch you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with my grandma's beloved
so good
on that sandwich every night. And he would sit there and eat it because that was his snack every night before bed was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with my grandma's homemade strawberry jam on it. And I finally looked at him, it's like, I can't do this to the level I need to do this while you're sitting here eating this. I need you. This isn't about skinny jeans. I don't care if I never lose a pound. This is about, I want to be here to love this man. I want to be alive to love my kids. I want to watch my kids grow up, my grandbabies grow up. That's my mission, is to teach them a different path. You know, Maddox may not be keto for the rest of his life, but I want him to know how to do it when he needs it.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, I want my kids to know how you're implementing that in your life, and you can make a difference in diabetes. You can turn it around. It's not something, don't listen that it's forever. You can do this. Jump in and do it. Get your spouse with you, get your family with you, and do it as a family, because none of them nobody needs that kind of glucose in their brain. Nobody.
Okay.
And if you have kids, just think of how much of a head start you can give them, so they don't end up.
You have 5 kids.
I do. I have 5 kids.
You have
yes.
5 kids. All right. You
I
have
do.
5 chances for those kids not to end up in the same position that you're in right now.
Yep.
Okay.
And
if you change and change your lifestyle, they're going to see it and emulate you in that change. And it's not going to be half as hard on them as it is you.
Because you're going to it. And,
okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think the biggest thing for you is to write down all the symptoms you have. You'll be amazed of how many things change, even if your weight's not changing.
Yeah, it's
and
not
so
about
you gotta,
weight.
yeah. I mean, you write it down right now and you just take one step at a time. Just work on the 20 carbs or less. That's all you focus on. Don't think about all the other stuff that comes later. Just do that one step. And then you do that as long as you have to, and then you switch. You don't have to think that far ahead. Just think simple.
Yep.
One
choice at a time.
One
Good
choice
job.
at a time.
And Laura's
All
one
right.
that's done it. You know, she's done it. So it's one of those. And the other thing I'm going to say, I'm not trying to stuff my faith down your throat, but I want be that godly man, be that leader of your family. And when he stepped up and was the leader of our family, it makes all the difference in the world. It truly does. I want to follow him now. I want to emulate that. I want to teach my grandkids. You are the leader of your family. You have parents that are loving you and leading you as well. You're leading your 5 and your wife. Be that man. Do it for you and all of those people that you love.
Okay.
You can do it,
Stop
dude.
bringing the stuff. Stop bringing that food into the house. You're in charge of that.
There you go. I'm sure that you make money to help buy the food, so just don't buy it.
Just don't buy it, right?
You know, the same thing Bug says, my daughter with the kids, it's like they can't eat it if it's not in the house.
Exactly.
We're not
it ain't there.
And they might go to school and the choices are awful at school and things like that. But when they're under my roof, and that's the same thing Dr. Boz even says, under her roof, they don't get it. They're going to go out and get stuff. Come on, Trish, jump in if you want to, honey.
I was just going to share one thing though. Mom did it. Don't compare your journey. Do it your way and do it on your own, because we like to compare. I know poor Bob, when my husband, when he was doing it and I was like all pro and the queen at it, I felt bad for him, because anytime he made the slightest little mistake, I was like, what are you doing wrong? You can't do it that way. Focus in on you, make sure you're doing it and do it for you, and do it because you need to do it, and make sure it's about you. And because if you're doing it for other people, you will find yourself.
Exactly, Trisha. It's got to stick with you, and it's got to be. You can only do it for somebody else so long.
Only for so long, for sure.
If you choose to do it for you, you'll do it longer. Okay. It'll mean more.
And that's why even Boz has us figure out our why. And, you know, we all kind of fluff over the top of it for our why at first. And I literally get to the point of, if your why don't make you cry, you're not digging deep enough. You got to dig. And when you've had major health issues, I mean, I've had enough health issues. I've knocked on death's door too many more times than I care to ever do.
Please.
But it's those moments of, that is why I take this so serious. That's why I'm so passionate about this, is you have a chance. You're not as sick as I was. You're not, you know, you still have time. Don't take advantage of it. Don't wait until they're ready to cut your feet off. You know, my daughter works at a podiatrist's office. You know, she's watching people every day that need their feet cut off, knowing they can fix it.
From the stuff they put in their mouth.
Okay.
So just be mindful of it, but just know we welcome you, we love you, and we're glad you're here.
Yes,
so show up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Of course.
Bring your kids and family. We love it.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Every Sunday night we're here, brother.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Any questions? That was awesome, Chris. So
I got goosebumps.
I've got a statement I'd like to make.
Go for it, Rob.
Well, this last week, you know, Linda made that post, you know, about she was being discouraged about not seeing like inches coming off, or, you know, she's not seeing physical changes. And, you know, she stressed that to me, and I was busy cleaning the couch. And, you know, right then God spoke to me. He said, God works in many ways that we don't see.
Absolutely.
And so I went down and shared that with her, you know, and that a lot of times we need to walk by faith, not by sight.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know, Linda, I want to throw this out. When I read your post the other day, my heart just hurts for you, because I know those of us that everything on the outside doesn't change very fast. Everything on the outside doesn't do it. But again, it comes back to the inside. Again, if my chemistry, let's put it this way, if my weight would all came off right away and fast, I'd have figured out I was probably done. I'm good. I've arrived. I got this. I'm good. Now I can half-ass it. Now I can whatever. If my weight would have come off first, those labs wouldn't have been quite so important. My goal right now is my labs. I want to know where my numbers are. I want to know what my glucose is. I want to know I'm healing at the cellular level. That's so much more important to me than any size or any number on my scale.
If that's outward stuff would have come off of her and she would have backed off the gas, she still would have been laying on the floor of that plane after her heart attack, because it didn't heal what it needed to heal.
You can drop, and that's the difference of the dirty, easy keto that's out there that works for some people. I am not trashing it and saying, oh, it's a bad thing. It is still better than the standard American diet with all that glucose.
Absolutely.
But those of us that are in this for the long haul, the cancer survivors, the diabetics, the neuropathies, the heart attacks, I've had all that stuff. I have to do it to that level to get the internal healing. It's not about the inches. It's not about my numbers. It's not about any of that to me. I want to be alive. That chemistry needs to happen for you.
And for me, I'm not focused on the weight. Even when I had my gastric bypass, it was for my health, and the losing, that came to me as a blessing, basically. But at that point, I thought I was doing it I felt like I was doing it for my health. Right. I mean, they were worried,
Sure.
Of all people, my gynecologist looked at me one day and said, every time you come in here, your blood pressure's been way up there. And he wouldn't let me leave his office until I promised to call the new doc. We lived in a small town and there was a new doctor because I didn't like the one we had. And he said, there's a new one. I'm giving you her number, but you have to call her. By the time I got home, that man had called them personally and had them call me because he knew me.
Right.
And, and so there were a lot of health issues. I had high blood pressure. I didn't have diabetes until I went through
your pre-op blood work.
My pre-op, and my doctor even said I've been watching that. This kind of blindsided me, but my knees ached. I could hardly waddle around and all of that. So I'm not focused on the weight. I'm focused on getting.
It's just nice to see some physical changes.
Absolutely. It gives you that little bit positive reinforcement. Yeah. And one thing I want to add to, just remember your body is not dumb. When you're healing, your body is going to heal the things that need the most healing first. The most trauma in your body is where your healing is going to start first, because that's the most damaged system. And that's where it's going to focus its healing on. Once it gets to that, it's going to move to the next one. Then it's going to move to the next one. Then it's going to move to the next one. It may not get to the outside until about seven things down the road. But you're just remember, what you're doing is changing and is helping and is healing places,
one cell at a time.
Places that you don't even know you're hurt yet.
Even with the neuropathy, now I wonder, Chris, even if you could jump in on this, if you notice it, when that neuropathy starts, that is the most debilitating pain. I mean, I've had natural childbirth, I've had cancer, mastectomy, reconstruction, radiation. Neuropathy is awful when it gets to that point, because a thread in my sock would feel like a razor blade cutting me. A grain of sand feels like, just something cutting, digging a hole in my foot. Neuropathy was god awful. But when that neuropathy started to get better, I started to feel other aches and pains. That it was like, what the heck? Why is this hurting? It may have always hurt, but my feet got so much attention of my energy, of my bandwidth in my brain. Everything was every time my foot had to touch the floor, it hurt that bad. So it was like I would not get the reception from it, because then when that stopped a little bit, then something else would start hurting. Then it's like, oh my gosh, now this hurts. Oh my gosh, now this hurts. But I think that's the reversal healing that he's talking about, of your body's going to do it in steps and stages. So it's just such a neat way to go. Any questions, anything else? I know we're running over, guys, but I love y'all, and this was a great one.
This is a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Anybody still have anything for the week, or anybody still want to check in?
Statement, anything.
Everybody good? If not, remember, we'll have class tomorrow night at 8:00. 7 o'clock for beginners, 8 o'clock for advanced. And let's put that over there. Everybody, if you haven't been in the group yet, make sure you get in the group, follow us, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, anything you can do like that. I know those things sound silly, but they really do help us. Jump in, Trish.
One last statement. It is important to know your why, and I know why. Because if you didn't know your why, Tammy, you would have never stopped that plane that day, because Lance is your why. Because I'm telling you, we had a great time that weekend. We had a fun time, but if you didn't know your why, you would have never stopped that plane, because none of us even knew what was going on with you at that point. And you got on that plane, and when you started having it, you said, "Oh my God, I need to stop this plane." You would have kept going, and you would have never said anything that morning. So it's
You're
really
right.
important to know your why. It's really important to know your why. And I'm so glad that you did that day.
You and me both.
I just remember
Yeah.
making that phone call when they got me off. The paramedics had me on the gurney and everything. And I'm calling him. I'm like, honey, I'm off the plane. And his first
I was
reaction,
mad.
he was like, what the hell
What
did
the
you
hell did you do to get kicked off the plane?
He's like, I'm coming to get you in 2 hours.
You're supposed to be on the ground in Pittsburgh in 2 hours.
We just like all dispersed and went our separate ways. And I just remember when I landed here, and I was like, what? But I just remember saying, thank God, because any other thing that happened that weekend, you were headstrong, and you would have probably have said, no, I'll be good. I'll be okay.
That's what I said all morning to Miss Vicky. Anybody that doesn't know, the weekend I had my heart attack, we were in Austin, Texas at KetoCon for the weekend, meeting up with keto people, had a great, fantastic weekend, met so many people, got to do meet and greets and everything. And it was on the plane on the way home when I had the heart attack. And I Miss Vicky kept saying, do you want me to take you to the hospital? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just dehydrated. Give me my salt, give me my water. I'm good. Kept saying, do you want me to take you to the hospital? I'm like, no, just get my butt on that plane and get me home. And that's all I kept saying was, just get me home. I just need to get home. And then she went to close the hatch on the door on the plane and do cross check and everything. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't think I am. But it was just, what a way God had his hand in the whole thing. So the cool part of it is, when they took me to the hospital and I got into the ER, I got the only keto cardiologist in Austin. So God had his hand in that so much, every step of the way, that it was such a blessing. I was exactly where I needed to be at the right time. First time in my life I've ever traveled without a husband or a spouse or a kid or somebody with me. And I sat in that airport, and it was the first time I ever looked up and never seen a familiar face, had nobody around me. And it was sheer terror. It was scarier than when they told me I had breast cancer. It was that moment.
If any of you newbies want to check this out on our YouTube page, go over to the YouTube page. I'm sure there's a live video of the first meeting, your first group meeting like this, back from the heart attack. And you get the whole story there.
It was cool. It was just so many blessings, but that's where this truly is our family, and we love you all. And we're just happy to be here with you. So reach out, let us know how we can help you. Ask your questions over in the group.
Please come back.
Yes. See you next week.
We'll see you next week,
We love
guys.
y'all.
Any questions?